Qualified, professional, and compassionate doctors talking real solutions to real health problems.
The heart is one of the most important organs of the body. Tonight on the DocTalk show, we are discussing issues that affect the heart in children. With me in studios are pediatricians Dr. Namuyonga Judith, who works with the Uganda Heart Institute. She's a consultant dealing with children, particularly in heart diseases. And we have Dr. Samogere Lamek, who is an intensivist also with the Uganda Heart Institute. You're most welcome to the show, our doctors.
Thank you.
And I'm your host for the evening, Dr. Darius Sawachi. So let's get straight to the details in understanding the conditions that affect the heart. You might have heard of conditions such as holes in the heart. Children who are born with holes in the heart. So I want to understand what exactly are these conditions that disturb children's hearts. So maybe I would start with you, Dr. Judith. You have a vast experience in the field of heart diseases in children. Maybe you could help the public understand what exactly are these heart conditions that affect children.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Darius. I'm first of all very happy to be in the studio this evening. So heart diseases in children are quite several, but there are those that a child is born with, and then there are those that are acquired as the child grows. So amongst those that children are born with, we give them a certain term. We call them congenital heart diseases.
Congenital to mean the child is born with
that problem.
Okay.
So in a layman's language, a congenital heart disease could either refer to a hole in the heart, or certain blood vessels are narrow, or they have switched positions. So they are born with all those conditions. And then there are those that we call the acquired heart diseases. Quite common, that have actually claimed many of our children. And these do not only choose particular children in certain areas, but they are in most of the parts of Africa.
That's a very common.
Quite common.
Okay. So maybe before we go further into the discussion, some people may not know exactly what the heart is. Maybe Dr. Lamek, you could elaborate what this special organ of the heart is.
Thank you, Dr. Darius. Good evening, dear viewers. As said, I'm Dr. Lamek. So to say what the heart is, so as we all know, for every moving object, we have a part of it that is responsible for movement, for propelling it. In the human body, we have the heart as the engine for the body. This is the part of the body that distributes all the contents required by the body to all parts of the body. So it means basically that you need the heart to be able to pump. It's the pump that supplies blood to the rest of the body and nutrients to the rest of the body. Mm-hmm. And of course, as Dr. Judith said, once that pump is inactive, you are less likely to be alive.
So these congenital problems, how do they come about? Why are children born like that?
First common cause is that they just happen. They are sporadic. They just happen. And some of them have been postulated to be caused by a genetic either predisposition, or there's a genetic cause. And there are some of the genetic disorders that we know that are mainly related with heart diseases, which may a bit be difficult to communicate to the public.
But there are some
obvious things that, so genes, others are chromosomes. Chromosomes are those building blocks that help develop certain
they're like the genetic material
of the body. Yeah, so some chromosomal problems, maybe some of them that we commonly see almost every day at the Heart Institute. You see children that look a little different from others. So children that, if you look at them, you notice, oh, this child could be having a problem. you look at the phenotype, what we call the phenotype or the outward appearance of that child, looks a little different. One, you may see a bit of low set ears, or the eyes are widely spaced. Certain things are different. So in our society, we have some children that we call the Down syndrome children. And each time you see a child that has Down syndrome, you really have to suspect congenital heart disease.
So, Dr. Lame, could there be any other causes of these congenital problems?
As Dr. Judith said earlier on, most of these things are really inborn errors. And we can't tell much about what is the exact cause, apart from those gene issues. Yeah, so like most of them, they are really related to gene issues, and gene issues can only be followed through families, and then you can be able to talk about the cause in terms of family relation, other than saying it's a cause the way you say maybe malaria is caused by this parasite. So for heart diseases, really in children, the congenital ones, that's how they usually.
So also the family history becomes an important
That is
aspect.
very important. But there's something else. The exposures of mothers during pregnancy, alcohol consumption has been associated with one of the congenital heart diseases we call a VSD, a hole in the lower.
Love drinking a lot, so
and especially
it's an
mothers,
important factor to discuss.
Yes, in the first trimester, especially because most of these organs are formed in the first trimester, the first 12 weeks of pregnancy. So if the mother takes alcohol, is smoking, or the mother is exposed to certain drugs, say radiations, x-rays,
when they are pregnant.
when they are pregnant, and especially in the first trimester, that would predispose a baby, the unborn baby, to getting congenital.
Can cause those genetic defects and may cause the organs to fail to develop properly. Okay, so also I think prematurity could also be another factor.
Yes,
so babies who are born before their time, they are supposed to be born at about 9 months, but if you're born like at 7 or 8, what's a very high likelihood that you can get this, what they call the congenital heart problem.
I totally agree. Actually, prematurity is one of the causes of the second most common congenital heart disease. There's one we call a patent ductus arteriosus. So premature babies tend to have patent ductus arteriosus because they are born before time.
Maybe to add something on that about prematurity, our viewers may not understand what we mean by prematurity. When a baby is inside the body in the mother's womb, what happens is that the child is developing, organs are growing. So when a child is born before time, there are chances that some of these organs, including the heart, may not be fully developed. So because of that, those poorly or underdeveloped parts of the body will manifest as congenital heart diseases in the future. So that is basically it is a kind of terminated growth. The babies don't develop to their full size
full
before
capacity
they are delivered.
Okay.
And the other thing, of course, about the risk factors that we have been discussing, mothers may think that, when you want to get pregnant, you can stop drinking, smoking, taking shisha and other things. But it is even having taken them before, yes, there are people who have been using them all their life. That is already a major risk factor. However, when you stop before you conceive, it reduces on the chances. But just the fact that someone has been taking them for a long time, has been exposed to x-rays for a long time, is doing shisha for a long time, all this can increase the chances of having these abnormalities, not only in the heart, but also other body organs.
Other conditions that can arise.
There's what we call German measles. So German measles or rubella is one of the common predispositions for congenital heart disease. So if mother gets rubella in the first trimester, actually all the trimesters, though the defects vary with the growth of the pregnancy. So I think antenatal is one of the key things that one needs. By the time you realize you're pregnant, the heart has already formed. Remember I said the first 3 months. So by the time, for instance, your wife realizes she's pregnant, she's 4 months pregnant, and every organ has been formed.
By 2 to 3 months.
So you need to start preparing for pregnancy 3 months before you're pregnant, and we'll tell you what you can do.
So remember, you're watching the DocTalk show. Send in your comments and questions on our social media platforms. You can also visit our YouTube page to check on these videos, which will be uploaded very soon. And don't go away. We'll be back after the break.
You are watching the DocTalk show.